Eric, good morning.
Hey, Sophie, good morning, and congrats to you on the new show. It's looking fantastic.
Thank you so much. Well, congratulations to you on the big announcement.
Thank you.
Talk to us a little bit about what your plans are. This has been something you've been thinking about for a while. Monday night, you made it official. What are you thinking?
So we're in this race. Incredibly grateful to people throughout the state of Missouri who have been encouraging us to step in and continue to fight for them. As you know, and as the folks in Missouri know, the honor of my life was to serve as a Navy SEAL. Did 4 deployments overseas, including to Iraq and Afghanistan. Came home when my team was hit by a suicide truck bomb, and then was honored to pull together with my fellow veterans and help other men and women who are dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, with traumatic brain injury, who'd lost eyesight, who'd lost limbs, and we found ways to save lives. When I served as governor, we took on the left. When Antifa came to the state of Missouri, we stood side by side with our police officers, and we were able to defeat Antifa in Missouri. We also took on the swamp. We killed a politician's pay raise. We ended a corrupt tax credit program. And now I think that the people of Missouri need a fighter who's willing to get into the Senate, defend President Trump's America First agenda, and also protect the people of Missouri from the kind of lunatic policies that we're seeing from Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi. So I couldn't be happier or more excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Sure. So, I mean, one thing you've been saying a lot is that you should not trust a Republican just because there's an R behind his name. Yes. So you talk about the swamp, you talk about the establishment a lot. Yes. What you're running really on this America First policy plan. Yes. Tell us a little bit about your position as an outsider to Washington and why you think that that's a really important perspective to bring to D.C.
Yeah, I think it is so important to have people who aren't just Republicans, but who are willing to stand up and to fight. People saw every day of President Trump's presidency the way he was attacked by the mainstream media, the way he was attacked by the left, and the way he was attacked by the swamp. I know as governor, we took on the swamp. We killed a politician's pay raise. I ended a corrupt insider tax credit program. And what we did instead was we stood up for our police officers. We stood up for law and order. We brought back American jobs. And this now, the Republican Party is, after President Trump's leadership, it's an America First party. Right. It's a broad-based prosperity party. It's a peace through strength abroad party. All of those things are important, but to make it happen, we can't just have Republicans. We got to have people who are willing to stand up and to fight for the president, and willing to stand up, most importantly, and fight for the people of Missouri.
In light of that view, do you expect the Missouri Republican Party, the GOP there, to get behind your candidacy and help you get into office?
Look, I'm sure that after we win the Republican Party, we will find ways to bring everybody together. I'm also sure that there will be a spirited primary. Look, you saw the way that the Lincoln Project, these so-called Republicans, went after President Trump. I'm the conservative, the outsider, the fighter in this race. I'm sure that we're still going to have those same kind of swamp and establishment folks who come out and attack us. But the good news for us is that the grassroots are with us. The good news for us is that the people are with us because we fight for them. And they know that. They know that I'm somebody who's willing to stand strong and to fight for the people of Missouri.
So it is early in this race right now. As I said, Roy Blunt just announced recently that he's not running. Who are you expecting to see in the competition?
There could be a number of different folks who've come in. We've probably heard 7 or 8 different names of people who might decide to get into the race. For us, though, we know that we've got a plan for victory, and it is a plan rooted in connecting to the voters of the state of Missouri. They're the ones who've been tremendously supportive of me throughout my career. And that's true, when I was serving the military, when I did the Mission Continues, when I was in office, and even here when we've been supporting and fighting for President Trump. They've been supportive. So it's kind of like when I was used to box, you always walked in and you knew that your opponent had a plan, but if you had your game plan together, you'd execute that and you'd win. And in the same way, we've got our plan, and it's rooted in connecting to the tremendous enthusiasm of the grassroots in Missouri.
Well, I'm sure it will be a spirited fight. So even just since Monday night, your campaign has rolled out a number of high-profile endorsements. You know, we've heard from former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani and a number of other people. These are all people who were sort of on board with President Trump's agenda, as you say, the America First policy agenda. Who else have we heard from?
Yeah, so we were honored to have Rudy Giuliani come out and support us. Bernie Kerik, who a lot of folks know, was the police commissioner during 9/11, tremendous supporter of police officers. He's with us. Seb Gordon Mayorkas rolled out his announcement. Ryan Zinke, President Trump's former Secretary of the Interior, who was also my Navy SEAL commander in training, he rolled out his endorsement. And folks, if they want to join us at ericgreitens.com, EricGreitens, they'll also see a number of other endorsements coming today, tomorrow, and throughout the week, all from folks who are tremendously supportive of our campaign.
Well, so a lot of these people are people that we've seen, in President Trump's inner circle for the past couple of years. Can we expect an endorsement from the former president?
Well, I have tremendous respect for President Trump's team and the confidentiality of their process. What I will tell you is that what you're going to see this week is a lot of support from folks who've been supportive of the president and were supportive of his fight in 2020 as well.
Sure. So, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on in the news right now that you would have to deal with as a United States Senator. First and foremost is sort of the crisis we're seeing at the United States border right now. You have this profound military history. So it seems like the Biden administration really is, they're sitting ducks in terms of this crisis that they are letting unfold. Some people have even called it a planned crisis because we understood it was going to happen. What do you actually think Joe Biden could be doing, harnessing the powers of the United States Armed Forces or not, to really be stopping this crisis?
Well, look, what Joe Biden needs to do and what he has to do for the people of this country is go back to President Trump's policies. President Trump's policies were working, but when Biden came into office, what did he do? Immediately, he stopped construction of the border wall. That was a mistake. He stopped the enforcement of American laws. That was a mistake. He encouraged people to come into the country illegally. And when President Biden did that, it created a crisis. This is a crisis that President Biden created. It's a public safety crisis. It's a public health crisis. And I'll also tell you, it's a humanitarian crisis. I worked with a lot of vulnerable kids around the world. I worked with kids in Bosnia who'd survived ethnic cleansing. You have some of the most vulnerable children in the world now who are being taken advantage of by Mexican gangs and Mexican cartels because you have this border which is completely ungoverned now because of Joe Biden's reckless policies. We need to have people willing to stand up and support what was working, which was President Trump's America First policies.
Right, so that could, mean the continued construction of the border wall, which we've seen so many senators go down and point out the literal gaps in. Certainly, I think it would require some heightened communication between the federal government and law enforcement on the ground. But even for state-specific issues, Missouri is, not on the border, so maybe that wouldn't be as much of a thing. What do you see as the number one issue that the Senate Republicans, who right now are in the minority, who knows if that'll continue to be the case in 2022, what would be your number one policy issue that you would be focused on?
So for me, the most important thing we can do is to support our police officers. We have to support our men and women who are in uniform to restore law and order. In the state of Missouri, you've seen tremendous increases in violent crime in places like St. Louis and Kansas City. We need to stand side by side with our police officers. When I was governor, I stood beside our police officers, and together we were able to defeat Antifa when they came to the state of Missouri. We were able to do that because we supported our law enforcement officers. Joe Biden and the left's reckless policies of defunding the police are leading to an increase in violent crime across the country. We saw a huge spike in murder rates in 2020, up 37% in many mid and major American cities. Having responded myself last July to a shooting in the city of St. Louis where unfortunately, automatic gunfire went off, I responded, but two wonderful young men died that day. I know and have seen firsthand the consequences of this violence. The way it ends is when we step up and support our law enforcement officers.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, Eric, thank you so much for coming to join the show today. Tell everyone again where they can find information about your campaign.
Absolutely, Sophie. Would love to have everybody come out to ericgreitens.com. It's EricGreitens.com. And there they can join us, join this fight to take back the Republic.
Great. Thank you so much, Eric. We'll talk to you soon.